should be agreed to. I call the member for Goldstein.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And Deputy Speaker, one of the things that Australians always held their head high about was that we were supposed to be a nation free of corruption. We were supposed to be a nation where good, honest, decent people not just got themselves into positions of public office, but of course that where there was corruption, people of good, decent, honest reputation called it out. The problem we now have, Deputy Speaker, is the government has become the enabler of corruption. This is a systemic problem now, not just across the federal government, but also the state governments as well. Every day this is being revealed in newspapers across the country, whether it's the Wood Inquiry in Queensland or, of course, in media reports in New South Wales, Victoria, Western Australia or South Australia, where it is explicitly clear that government projects are being commissioned and the CFMEU, in concert with the government, is ensuring brown paper bags are being transferred of public money to the benefit of the few paid for by the Australian worker. And this is the problem. The cartel kickbacks that are going through, funded by your taxes, Australian taxes, is now part of the systemic nature of increased costs on Australian projects funded through the industrial relations system. You are paying not just through higher taxes, not just through debt into the future, but you're increasingly paying it through higher costs for projects across the country, and of course through lower returns and lower values. This is the disaster of the Albanese government, of the Allen government, and of course so many other governments across the country. And the only state in this nation that's been prepared to call it out has been the LNP government in Queensland, where they've commissioned an inquiry, the Wood Inquiry, that's directly called out the cartel kickbacks that have existed in the CFMEU. And doing so, they've exposed directly what is now happening, where millions of dollars are being funnelled through the facilitation arrangements established through the industrial relations system enabled by the Labor Party to make sure it makes its way into organised crime and the trade union movement, so that it can then, of course, be kicked into the ALP campaign coffers that is being paid for by average Australians. This is the most disgraceful episode in this nation's history. And I note the silence on the government benches right now, because they know if they stand up and protest, they protest too much, because they know how much they're complicit in this crime. It is time to stand up and it's time to call it out. And every time they sit there in silence and do nothing, they continue their complicit. Last night in the Senate, only last night, 3 states have reported to the Commonwealth government themselves that there is a process, they're concerned, of corruption and cartel kickbacks across 3 projects in the state of Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland. We have asked a simple request from the Minister for Industrial Relations and the Minister for Infrastructure to do an audit to make sure that public money is not going towards cartel kickbacks, brown paper bags, into the CFMEU and organised crime, and they're refusing. The simple question is public money going to finance organised crime? It should be an easy answer, but the minister refuses to look. And there's a simple reason why. Because she knows if she shuts down the cartel kickback supply chain, at some point it'll stop feeding people within the Labor Party ecosystem and the cartel they have operating. And of course we see this consistently across the industrial relations system, whether it's through the industry super funds who use marketing expenses to shower money onto the trade union movement, who miraculously make significant financial contributions to the Labor Party to stay in office so they can keep taking money out of Australian workers' wages and shower it upon themselves. Or whether it's through the trade union movement so they can campaign for Labor to be in the position so that they can change the laws to favour them at the expense of ordinary Australians. Or to make sure that they suppress wages for Australians so that they can take advantage and be able to strong-arm them and use their muscle. Wherever it is, the only people who are winning are the Australian Labor Party, because the industrial relations system in Australia today, Deputy Speaker, is not about empowering workers. The industrial relations system in Australia today is about control. It's about controlling Australian people, Australian workers, and making sure that they do the Labor Party's bidding. And this is the immoral nature of this government. They simply do not have the best interests of Australians at heart, and they are not interested in how they're going to empower them to be part of the future success of this country. So my simple question to the minister, though she hasn't bothered to turn up, is when are you going to stop the kickbacks? When are you going to start to focus on the Australian people, and when are you going to stop the money flows to organised crime?
The question is